There is a little fighter.
All right, kiddos, so join me in this adventure as I rip my motor apart so that I can put the parts that I didn't get yet into it. I sure hope they get here. I almost put this job on hold. I bid on a 2011 370Z this morning. I almost won it, let me put it that way. It was all original. No aftermarket parts on it, 94,000 miles on it, and the damage was easier than what my black one was. It was an automatic, but it was relatively all stock and it looked really clean. And I told myself my cutoff was $3,500. Sure enough, I bid up. Once I hit $3,500, everybody quit bidding. I was like, I might actually win this thing. Went through, timed out. Bonus time came up. It was right at the timeout thing, and then a bid went in, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. And that's what it went for. So it went for $3,550. It would have been that. Honestly, it was worth it, but I don't really need it right now. I got to buy a trailer, which that's happening probably next weekend, and then I'm tearing this motor apart to put a bigger one in it. I keyed. No, every now and then, cylinder one, I get the lifter noise. Now, one morning it was actually tapping, and that's when I made the executive decision that I was gonna fix this problem. And then, since then, it's been relatively quiet. You never know when it's gonna go. 86,000 miles. I've seen them go that. I've seen them go higher. You never know. And I think I'm going to remove some stuff while I was originally, this was in here because there was air horns, and I thought about like putting an air line on it and using it to like pump stuff up, tires. But honestly, I never used it, and I'm never going to use it, so I'm going to remove it. And then we got to tear this motor down to almost a bare block so that I can get the cam out and I can get the lifters out, because I have ordered the full Texas Speed AFM delete kit, DOD, AFM, whatever you want to call it, delete kit. So that's cam, lifters, GM lifters at that, new head gaskets, all new hardware, new everything that's involved. And I am doing this the easy way. There are the regular way to do this is to drop the steering, the front diff, get the oil pan off, and do it that way. I'm not dropping the oil pan. I've seen people do it, several people do it, where you walk the chain off of the cam gear, and that's the way I'm going to do it. I feel relatively confident in doing that. But to get the cam out, we do have to get the radiator, so get all of this tore out in the front here. So I got to get the radiator out. I do need to drain the coolant. And there is no, I don't think there's a drain on this radiator. I was looking while I was under there, and I don't believe there is a drain to drain your antifreeze out. So you basically just got to pull a line and let the fluid run out. I definitely want to see what cylinder one looks like, because I feel certain that one of the lifters, either the bearings are starting to go on it, or it's starting to wear the cam or something. I don't know. I'm not getting a misfire, so I really don't think it wore the cam yet. And originally I was just going to go in and replace all the lifters with OEM and go that way. And then I was like, if I'm tearing it down this far, it is just a couple more steps to tear that front timing cover off, get that cam out, replace the cam, put regular lifters in. I actually ordered the Texas Speed tuner for it as well, so we will be tuning out the AFM altogether so it'll never try to go into 4-cylinder mode. I really love how GM just like really just packed this engine like way back in there. That makes this really convenient and easy to do. I'm being sarcastic. So what I did underneath was disconnect the exhaust from the headers, because the headers do have to come loose. Technically, probably should take the steering arm out. But anyways, I'm gonna get this cover off and then start tearing down here. And I wanted this thing down on the ground because you are like way over in the engine bay working here. And if I had to work on it up at normal level, it would be a pain in the butt. But sitting on the ground on my lift, I am standing up right now, and I am in perfect level to get in here and do what I need. So I do suggest take all your wheels off if you have a lift. If you don't have a lift, you could also maybe do it with jacks and set it down on jack stands or something, just to get it lower to the ground so you're not working up over the front end of these trucks. Mine's not lifted, but it still sits up high enough that I would be hurting at trying to get in there and stuff. So let's go ahead and start tearing down some of this and see what we're working with. whoever it was at GM, that their job was installing these clips right here that go in this wiring harness back here on the back of the intake manifold.
I hope you stubbed your big toe.
Hey. So for the most part, this was straightforward, but could not get this one vacuum solenoid line off, so I just unbolted it and took it out. And it just tucks off to the side there. I don't know where it goes. It looks like it attaches to maybe the head, or actually it looks like it goes down in and probably goes back to something back in the back. I have no clue. That's the high pressure fuel pump right there. There's your high pressure lines coming in. Be careful with those. You take them off. They will squirt fuel right in your face. And you won't like it. We do have to get all of this stuff out. Get all the lines off. That way we can get that valley plate off. I'm pretty sure I can leave the injectors in. The injector line, like rails. I just have to get the lines off. So we'll have to see about that. It looks like, I don't know. I'll have to go watch a YouTube video. Somebody knows what they're doing. Ha! For the most part though, everything looks really good. I'm pretty happy with how everything looks in here. The one loom on this side, it like disintegrated when I touched it, and that's why I vacuumed this, because I had chunks of plastic loom all through there, which is really nice. I think the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and unbolt these headers, given I have enough room, because I can see that one in the back is very, very fun to get to. I can guarantee you that. Honestly, you know what? Let's take the valve covers off first. We'll get the valve covers off. That'll clear out some room. We'll get the spark plug wires out of the way and all that stuff. And then that will give us room to see the headers from the top and probably get to the bolts and stuff like that. So yeah, and then we do need to take the alternator off, the bracket, the water pump, and all of that, but I'm gonna get into that later. I want to try to get the heads off and then work from there. All right, I never even really thought about it. The Vlom plate there, you get to that after you take the heads off, because then the rails are out of the way. Don't take your injectors, not direct injection. Those things are a pain. Leave those in there. But we will have to take the lines off of them and everything. But yeah, so.
Sometimes you never know where it's gonna turn. First you build a dream up just to watch it burn. It's easier to settle for the change, take a few scraps and just walk away. But I still believe when the chips are down, you will find your way up, lifting off the ground. I can see it like a sunrise on the hill. When you make it through the night, you're gonna feel. Hold on, you got this. All that you wanted is on the other side, and you're gonna find that it's rough and it's wild, but it's worth every mile. And when it burns inside your soul, that's how you know that you're on the road. I wrote a letter to myself from the future me. Yeah, I had a lot to say about my history. When you're in the breathing smoke, kinda hard to see, with lungs like a furnace in the desert heat. Sometimes the right feels like a wrong. Sometimes you're gonna sing the saddest songs, but look back up when you trip and fall, cause a view from here is kinda worth it all. Hold on, you got this. All that you wanted is on the other side, and you're gonna find that it's rough and it's wild, but it's worth every mile. And when it burns inside your soul, that's how you know that you're on the road. you're on the road. I know that you felt the
All right, so I had 2 broken bolts on my exhaust manifold. One missing the head completely, was on this side over here, and then the very back one over here. It's this end of the bolt still sticking out, which is good because I can then at least have something to get it with. And then the head broke off of this one over here, the very back one. Same way. It looks like it's probably about like this. Yeah, I'd say this thing's been worked on before and had the manifolds off. So I don't know what all work is done to this truck, to be honest with you. You know, buying it at auction is just kind of what it is. This side, this is the side that I would have thought would have been making noise or something, and like I said, it's quiet sometimes, so honestly probably not having an issue with that side. But I'm to the point now where I'm not seeing anything visible. I'm gonna go ahead and take the rocker arms and the push rods out, and then I'm gonna lay them out organized over here, even though we're not using them again. We're using the rockers and the push rods, so I'm gonna keep them in order. I'm gonna do the same with the heads then, and set the heads over here and just kind of organize everything that way. I'm highly surprised that I didn't have a tick, especially with, in looking at this one, it appears this one was leaking on the end, and then this one was the bad side where it broke off completely. It may have been leaking just a little bit, not much. I don't know. I'm surprised at how quiet this thing actually was, especially for having 2 broken bolts. So anyways, I need to go grab another SD card or I'm going to run out of memory, and we don't want to do that. So I'll be right back, and then we'll start tearing into that. All right, so it probably wouldn't matter, but just to be safe and I'm not having these heads machined, I'm going to do a backwards torque sequence like what you would do to tighten them. I'm going to do a backwards sequence on that and loosen them a half a turn until they're loose, and then I'll run them out. But I don't want to chance messing these heads up at all, because there's nothing wrong with them except for the studs that are broke off in them, which will be a lot easier to get off with the heads out anyways. So that's a nice thing. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start loosening these up, and then we'll get the heads off, and then I'm done for the evening. although I've hated every part of this. No part of this is fun. It's not easy. I'm actually like sort of regretting even getting into it, but once I got the lifters out and I seen them and I see the cam, I really don't regret doing this. The lifters themselves don't look too bad. There's some wear on some of them. As you can see, there's some wear on these. None of them are chewed up, but there's wear on some of them like that. You look in on the cam lobes, and pretty much every cam lobe has marks on it. So I think it's going to be even more evident when I get this cam out how bad this really was and how much longer I didn't have. So yeah, you can see these cam lobes here. There's wear marks on them. There's wear marks on every single one of them. I don't know if any of my lobes were getting chewed up, but definitely is wear marks. I think that one was starting the front, and then that would be why the squeak was in the front. I think this front one is starting to get chewed up. And I thought it was cylinder 1. Actually, cylinder 3, I think was it 3? It's the middle one on that side. It was actually looked like the worst. I think once we get that cam out, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be happy that I did this. It's just right now I'm not happy going through the agony of doing all this. This is not a fun job, and it's a multi-day job. This isn't one you do in one day. So I still have yet. Now I did tear a good bit of stuff off, but the air compressor, the air conditioning compressor, is unbolted and just sitting there. That's fine. That's where it's going to sit. Look at this water pump. Like this is all the water pump. Got to get the water pump off, and then I still need to get the belt off for the, I don't know if that's a smog pump. I think that's a smog pump down there at the bottom. I got to get the belt off of that too, but I can't really see it too well, so I figured I'd just wait until I got the water pump off, and then we'll go from there. The ground's on the back of the head. Screw you guys. Screw you guys a lot. Yeah. Yeah, we was leaking exhaust gases right there for sure. Look at that. Oh man, that one broke off inside. Oh man, that's gonna be a hard one to do. I'm either gonna have to drill and use an extractor, which may be the way to go. I'm gonna try, maybe I'll try to drill through that and use an extractor. This one I can weld to, but yeah, I obviously, that's been, that head was still on it, and I turned it and I was like, this is loose, and then it fell right off. That's been broken for a while. Not my fault. So both of these heads need work on top of everything else. Yeah. Boy, their gaskets are heavy duty. Look how many layers of metal these gaskets are. I think they're 5 layer. Yeah. They're heavy. They're also junk now at this point. I just laid them there just because I need to go to bed. This job kicked my butt. And I think I'm going to end up doing more work. I think I'm going to end up taking the bolts out of the steering shaft, get that linkage out of there. And I think I'm going to take the dipstick tube out and get those headers off, because it is a pain to work around those headers. And then I think I'm also going to take the inner wheel wells out, because you can get at a lot of the bolts from there, and I might need to go through here to torque the heads. At least the back 2 bolts. Those things are so hard to get to. So I'm thinking we're going to end up doing that. I can take the Vlon plate off now. I'm not going to do that right now, though. I'll wait until I get the front timing cover off and I'm getting ready. Because I still have to, there's a push rod for the high pressure fuel pump that's down in there that you have to lift up or take out to get the cam out. So we'll have to do that later. All right, so my Texas Speed kit came. Highly pleased with everything. Is GM, good quality. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember what this cam is. I didn't go for something radical. Let me look it up real quick. All right, so I don't know much about cams, but I'll just tell you that this is a GM OEM non-DOD L83 cam with VVT, because I'm not doing away with VVT. So it's a 193, 199, or 0.502 over 0.494, 113 plus 6. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be real honest with you, but that's what we're putting in. Okay, I didn't go for like some high horsepower kit. I just want to do a DOD delete. That was my main thing. Very nice looking cam. Came in this tube. It's heavy duty. It was a little loose, and I didn't like how it bounced around. It beat this nub beat the cap up on us, but honestly, it's unscathed. Here's well, I damaged the cap, but you can see where that thing beat into the lid of this a couple times. This comes with everything you are going to need to do that kit. So this is the Vlom plate or your Valley plate. This is the gasket for that. Here's your lifter trays, new lifter trays, because you're gonna need new ones. Water pump gaskets. These are all factory GM, I believe. New LS9 lifters, and they're all seal packed with oil, which there's actually a little bit, there's oil on the outside of the pack. But I'm gonna take all these out here in a minute, and I'm just gonna drop these in a tub of oil. The Diablo tuner. Now, it does say right in here that you need to update first before you do anything. I did just take it in. There was an update for it. I updated it. Make sure you do that. This is the front crank seal on the timing cover. Here is the crank bolt. Here is the DOD plugs that you put in underneath the Vlom plate. These are just like little aluminum plugs, and you hammer them down into the oil passages that go down through there. This is a new cam phaser bolt, because they are one use only, just like the crank bolt there. You can see it's got like an oil passage through it, real high-tech looking bolt. Make sure you torque that. Texas Speed stickers, enough stickers. Head bolts, all factory GM head bolts. Oh yeah, and don't be like me. I use a 12 to take that one bolt out, the short bolt. If you convert that, it's a 13 millimeter. If you convert that over, it's a 1/2 inch. I was looking everywhere. I even went driving around looking for a dang 13 mil Allen head socket to do this. And yeah, then I looked up online. I was like, what's the equivalent of 13 mil? 1/2 inch. But I did go buy, I bought a new 1/2 inch one, just in case. Torque is different on this one when you go to put the heads back on. This one's a little less because it's a shorter bolt. Exhaust gaskets, and I went out and I got all new manifold bolts since 2 of them snapped, and I got to get those out yet. And then 2 factory GM head gaskets. They are heavy. That's a lot of weight for a head gasket. It feels like it's about 10 pounds. Pretty wild. But I do want to clean these heads up, but I'm going to put that on hold because I still want to do some things here. I'm going to put this thing up in the air, tear the wheel liners out, because I know it's going to give me a lot more room. Right now I'm fighting to do stuff, and I want to get that exhaust header out and get the dipstick tube off. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'm also going to take that steering arm off. I marked it with a paint marker each end just to make sure that I put it back together in the same orientation. So I'm going to go ahead and take that stuff off. Also put rags down in the lifter holes so nothing drops down in there. I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera. The fender wells and stuff like that is just, and then getting the steering arm and the exhaust manifold out. I'm just going to do that, get it out of the way. Then when I come back, then we'll do, I think we're going to do water pump when I come back, and then the Vlom cover. And I might just go ahead and put those plugs in there. Just get that out of the way now so we can put that plate back on. Since you can't put that plate on with the heads on, let's just do it and get it out of the way. And actually, I should just leave that plate off. Yeah, I'm going to leave that plate off because I still got to get that lifter out for the high pressure fuel pump and then the cam and everything. So and then I can see everything down in there when I put the cam in. Make sure everything's good and lined up. The one thing that this kit didn't come with, and I kind of wish it did, was the plate that holds the cam in. There's a seal on that seals the oil in, and if that seal does go bad, there can be an internal leak in your engine and you'll lose oil pressure from that, and that's something that you can't see out here. It's not going to leak outside your engine, it's going to leak inside your engine, inside the timing cover. We're going to check that seal. If it's flat whenever we get in there, then I'm going to try to find some place tomorrow that has that plate, and I'll just buy one on the spot. I don't think they're that expensive, like 25 bucks, something like that. But yeah, just I've been watching YouTube videos. Go figure. Also, I feel like it was my lucky day because I'm pretty sure this thing stopped on top dead center. when I shut it off, the cylinder 1 is at the very top. How did I get that lucky? I went out today in search of getting the flywheel tool that you take the starter out and then you bolt it in place of the starter and it locks your flywheel. Talked to my buddy Gino. He said, you don't need that. But if I have trouble getting the crank bolt out, that's where the issue is. If you can't get that out, then with an impact or something, then yeah, it's not fun. I just want to add, if you're doing this job, don't be like me. Put me on the special boy list. It took me all 2 minutes to remove my wheel liners. And then, look at this. Them bolts I had trouble reaching, they're right there. And I'm trying to get at them from up top, and yeah, right there. So this is how we're going to torque them. Now, the steering arm on this side, I have not successfully got that off. I tried, and now I decided just to leave it on there. And the dipstick tube should come out, but I haven't tried any harder. I thought, before I do all this, let me try to take the crank bolt out to see if I can get that out. And it turns out I cannot, and I don't have the crank locking tool to help me break that loose. So I am going to make a Harbor Freight run real quick and go get, I'm on the fence. Do I get the air impact that's 1,500 foot-pounds braking torque, or do I get the battery impact that's that? I think I'm going to get the battery impact, honestly. But, yeah, it's a lot of money. Oh, well. We got to get this done, and that's the only way I'm going to get that off there. And then tightening it up. I'm going to have to use it to tighten it up, too. My Ryobi is just not enough. 18 volts. I think those ones are 20 volt, 24 volt, something like that. I'll be back. I'm going to go get one. And then I'm going to try to get that dipstick tube out and get the exhaust manifold off. Because when you do, then you have full access in here. Well, kind of. There's a lot of wires and stuff, but still a lot more access than I had from up top. All right, I'm back. I didn't really get what I wanted, but I got something. Okay, I almost went with a 3/4 inch air impact. I wanted the battery impact, the best 1/2 inch one they had. And they didn't have any of the kits. It was all tool only. And then you had to buy the charger and the battery separate. And it was going to be well over what I was planning on paying. So I spent about half and got an air impact that supposedly has the same torque as that battery impact. Like I said, I almost went with a 3/4 inch gun. Then I would have had to buy some sockets and stuff. But I think it was 1,800 foot-pounds of braking torque. This is 1,500 foot-pounds of bolt braking torque. So new end on the hose. We're gonna give it a shot. Well, I'll be returning this thing tomorrow and getting that 3/4 like I thought I should have. I wish Harbor Freight was closer. I'd just go do it now. Ashamed to say that I just spent an hour driving to go get a tool to think I would get this crank bolt out, when I just did it without the special tool to hold the crank or anything. I'll show you how I did it. So first, have a couple drinks, because then that will get you angry. You're gonna need that. Then get a pry bar, okay? Stick it through the crank pulley over there. You see how I have it wedged? Like plenty of leverage on the side of the timing cover there. Now, I was a little worried about possibly, you know, breaking that, but I think I'm on even past the timing cover. Get a 1/2 inch breaker bar, then get yourself a pipe on top of this. But I already broke it, so it's not as tight now, but you can see I just moved it some. So yeah, I got it. That's how I did it. It held the harmonic balancer in place and allowed me to loosen that bolt. So knowing that I have that loose enough now, I really don't have to go any further with it to take it out. I just wanted to make sure I could break that loose before I got stuck, and then I was like, well, I can't do this now. Now, tightening that thing up is going to be another issue. We got a brand new bolt. I looked up torque spec. It's weird. You like tighten it to 100 some foot-pounds, then you loosen it 160 degrees, then tighten it to 60 some foot-pounds, then go to 100 and yeah, there's like a whole step thing. So yeah, but this kit came with a new bolt, so you know what, might as well just go ahead and take that bolt out since it's out of the way. Let's get this water pump off, which is going to make a mess. Get the water pump off, then we can start with the timing cover. I do need to get that crank pulley off, and I don't know if I have to use a puller or if I can just pull it off. We're going to figure that out too. I do have pullers here, and I think I have one that'll work. I should. If not, I got a big hammer. I know well aware this is overkill. I did get the other exhaust manifold out, but I cannot get that dipstick tube out, and I want it out because it's going to be a pain in the butt. You'll probably just end up bending this bracket. Mother effer. I don't think it's coming out. I think I'm just bending this. I am. What in the hell? I don't know if I can get that exhaust manifold back down on with that in there, but guess we're gonna find out in time. All right, so we're down. You can see I had to unbolt the vacuum pump and push it off to the side because you cannot get the timing cover off. I took this stud out over here thinking that was going to give me room. Did not. You can't clear the oil pump right there. So I'm not taking the oil pump off. It's staying where it's at. We're just going to work with it from there. So, because the oil pump you have to align when you put it back on, and there's like special tools and stuff for that. I don't have those. So we're gonna leave it where it's at. I'm gonna get my I have like a self-leveler thing, and it's magnetic. I'm gonna stick it to the front here, and it's gonna put a line straight down through here, and I'm gonna put marks on the gear, the phaser, which the phaser shouldn't move, but you got to be careful with that because that can come apart. So you really do have to be careful with that. I think I might slip some zip ties in around or through the center of that after I, you know, get to that point. But yeah. So the tensioner, you can apparently get a screwdriver or something in there. You can't take the oil pump off though, not without taking the oil pan off. You can take the bolts out and it gives you a little bit of room, but I really don't want to do that. And then the timing cover, they say just leave there, but I still have to get that seal off the front cover because I got a new one. You can put tension on the chain tensioner here, or put something in here and push on the chain, and then you put a pin through this, and it'll hold the tensioner, or take tension off the tensioner, so you have slack in your chain, and that's one thing we're gonna have to do. I think at this point we'll go ahead and take the high pressure fuel pump off and the Vlom plate, and then we are at the halfway point. Well, not really, but yeah, kind of. I just realized whatever I was doing something up here, and I know I hit something, but I didn't see any damage, and now I see my brand new oil pressure switch here. I did just replace this, brand new. That sucks. All right. Anyways. Now we are officially at the halfway point. Everything's out that needs to be out. Now it's time for assembly, and it's going to be a lot of work. Let me wipe this cam off. I'll show you. This thing is wearing. It was wearing. It's not bad yet, but it was getting there. My hands were really dirty, so really made everything look really bad. Yeah, it wasn't long for this world. If I would have kept it in there, it was gonna go bad, honestly, probably pretty shortly. And it's pretty much every cam lobe on top of that. Every lobe has wear. There's some grooves in a couple of them, and it's just, yeah, there's no actual what do I want to say, where it actually wore it down, wore the lobe down at all, like where it would have made a difference in how it ran. But let's look at all of these lobes here. This is the fuel pump lobe right here, and it even has a little bit of wear on it, but let's go across here on these lobes. Some of them have groove marks in them. There, you can see those two right there. Look at that, the whole way through it has a groove wore in it. These ones have grooves wore in them. And that first one has grooves wore in it. Now, just since we have it down to this point, and I have to like prop the condenser up out of the way to put the cam in, I'm gonna go ahead and set the new cam in there. I'm gonna get some, I have some Permatex Ultra Slick assembly lube. I actually have some other assembly lube over there too, but I bought this. This is a brand new bottle. I think what that other stuff might be Lucas. Not sure. But we need to get the new cam. You know what? Let me go. I was gonna wash my hands. Let me just put some gloves on. I'm gonna put some gloves on. That way I'm not handling that cam with dirty hands and getting dirt all over it and stuff. And I'll show you me lubing her up and then kind of get me putting it in there since the condenser's like right there, but we'll see. I brought it over here because I wanted to see if I could see a difference between the new cam from the old cam, and honestly I can't. I was trying to like look at the lobes, see if the lobes, if I could tell if they're different or if they're wider or what, and I'm not seeing it. So I don't know what the main difference is between this and this. Texas Speed might have the answer. I don't know. I don't know. The only thing it looks like there might be dips before the ramp up on them, and and it looks like it's smooth on these. And I don't know what the purpose of that would be. Yeah, I don't know. There you go. Let's lube her up. All over. Ew. It's so sticky. She's coated. All right, so I'm about to install the cam retainer plate, and I'll be honest with you, I've been getting all my information from All Data DIY. I'm not sponsored by them, but for 20 bucks a month, all the information you need to do a job like this, it's a no-brainer, especially a big job like this. I will pay the $20 for a month subscription so that I know what I'm doing when it comes to this. So, torque on these is like 15 foot-pounds. It says apply sealant. It doesn't say what type of sealant. I cleaned the bolts up on a wire wheel because it says to remove old sealant. So I cleaned them up and then Now I just wanted to stop here because I lied to you, and it was 11 foot-pounds. It was 15 Newton meters. I have a inch-pounds torque wrench. I use that. That would be 132 inch-pounds. So that's what I tighten those up with. So they should be good. I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the plugs in, the DOD plugs in. That plugs these oil passages up here in the valley. Before I do that, I got a bunch of dirty rags here, but I'm going to shove them in there so that if I would happen to drop one, it doesn't go in and down into the crankcase. There are very little aluminum plugs, and you just hammer them down in. I'm just grabbing a bunch of rags I have here. And there's a hole right here, and there's a hole right here. And I don't want the chance of that any of them going down in there. And then we got those other holes plugged too. So let me get these out. I'll show you these real quick. Not really much to these things. There's no directions in this kit. You just kind of watch YouTube videos. Here are these plugs. And you're just going to put them on there and just tap it in. Just give it a little tappy. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo. They are tight. Looks like it left a little bit of a metal shaving behind. Make sure you clean that up. They are tapered, so they're supposed to go in pretty easy to start, but once it gets, you get a solid thud, that means it's in. Yeah, I think before I take these rags out, I think I'm gonna get a wire brush and run around the outer perimeter of these things and hopefully get rid of the shavings it left behind. I'll tell you what, my rib cage really hurts. This is day 2 of hanging over the front of this thing. And no turning back now. Oh, I wish I could turn into a creeper up here. I wish I had one of them topside creepers. Hey, Vivor, where you at? Where you at with my products? All right, they're all in. Now, like I said, I'm gonna get a little wire brush out and I'm gonna brush around those and wipe them pretty clean, because I did see a little bit right there. There's a small metal shaving came off of pretty much every one of them when I did that. Maybe I should get the vacuum out. Yeah, I can see there's a little shard there. Make sure you're ultra clean. No shards left behind. Just for peace of mind, I'm gonna throw this cam back in. That way, make sure everything's lined up, timed, stuff like that, and then I'll put the new fluid bolt in, torque. Don't know if I'll be able to torque it. We'll see. I'm gonna try to torque it.
Twerk it.
I'm gonna try to torque it, and then use a new fluid bolt, so you don't use this old one. Funky. It's got like a spring-loaded thing on the end. It opens different passageways in the end of that. That has to do with the variable valve timing, I believe. Be careful with the cam gear, because, like I said, your phaser can come off of there. It's sprung in there, so I think it's going to be okay. I think I'm just going to leave it. I put multiple timing marks on there. This is the timing mark I was talking about. If you had the oil pump off, this lines up with a mark on your oil pump, or yeah, the oil pump, the crank gear. Being that it's on there and you can't see it, I put a mark on the case here, a mark on this top tooth, and I put a mark right inside the case, right where this tooth is. So this should line up with that whenever we get this in and in place. So let's give her a shot. Just be careful. Now I had to walk this off with screwdrivers, and it really didn't have a lot of tension on it. It was just, it's a tight fit, but if you walk it off with 2 screwdrivers, 1 tooth at a time, there's really hardly any tension on it, and then it comes right off.
I saw you under a tall pine tree, had your head up in the clouds, reading Agatha Christie with an ice cold drink sitting at your feet. You did not need me then, but I said, darling, how'd you like to get dangerous? I think you and me could take a little time, we could sail the seas and get wilder. We could get a little wilder. Take some clothes, but leave our phones. It's better with someone than it is alone. Let's get wilder. We could get a little wilder than we are. Remember that time when you were home alone? I pretended to be someone that you did not know. You chased me around the yard with a spatula. When you found out it was me, I said, darling, how do you like to live dangerous? I think you and me could take a little time, we could sail the seas and get wilder. We could get a little wilder. Take some clothes, but leave our phones. It's better with someone than it is alone. Let's get wilder. We could get a little wilder than we are. Let's leave our phones and tell nobody. Let's go alone. Who cares if we're already married? The future is scary. So darling, how would you like to stay dangerous? Well, I think you and me could take a little time underneath the trees and get wilder. We could get wilder. Make some love.
All right, so it's in time, cam gear's on, and it's torqued. That's like a torque to yield bolt. That's hard. Yeah. And I think we're gonna have the same problem with the head bolts, but you torque it to 40, 42, 43. Let me pull it up. I have it up. 48 foot-pounds, and then torque it to 90 degrees. So I got what I could get out of it. It was 90 degrees or pretty close to it. That was a tough sucker. Yeah, so it's in there. I took the pin out of the tensioner because I didn't want to forget that and leave it in there. Then you have a rattly chain. Went ahead and put the Vlon plate on. Now, I haven't torqued those down yet. I'm going to look it up. I don't really think that's too important, but yeah, just tighten them up. But I'm going to look up the torque spec on those real quick and tighten it down. High pressure fuel pumps in as well. But everything was cleaned up in there and good to go. So I wanted to get part of this engine sealed up so it wasn't sitting here wide open for mice to jump into, because there are mice in here. All right, so last night I was trying to clean up some things and I got to looking at the block and I only noticed one dowel pin in that. Then I come over to the heads and I only found 2. And I know whenever I was, at some point, I was doing something in here after I pulled the heads, or when I pulled the heads, I can't remember, and I heard a clinging noise or a clanging noise. So I was like, first I'm like, man, I'm going to have to find another dowel, because there should be 4 of them. Got looking around and stuff, got this thing up in the air a little bit, and then looked down in there, and then right on top of my front axle, I found the other dowel sitting right on top of it. So make sure you have all 4 of these. You're going to need those, especially when you're setting the head gaskets on and stuff. As of right now, we need to get these heads cleaned up. Now, I did just put new spark plugs and all. And when did the price of spark plugs go to freaking outrage? I paid $120 for 8 spark plugs. That's ridiculous. I remember getting 8 spark plugs for like 20 or 30 bucks. Yeah, all right, whatever. So I need to spray these down. Realistically, today my goal is to get the lifters in and get the head set on and torqued. And I went and got myself a nice torque wrench. Honestly, you don't really need one like this. For these, you torque them to, I have it wrote down over here. It's not very much, 60 some, I want to say foot-pounds, somewhere around there. 59 foot-pounds. And then you do a 90-degree pass and then a 60-degree pass. Now that one bolt that Allen had is 59 foot-pounds, 90 degrees, and then 40 degrees. So I'm going to mark the heads of the head bolts with paint marks. And then whenever I put them in there, and I torque them at 59 foot-pounds, then I'm going to put a mark on the head, and then we're going to turn it until that other paint mark comes around and touches it. I'm also going to use a degree wheel when I do it, but sometimes you get in there and then you get to jumbling around and you'll knock this out of place and you'll lose your degree. Marking the head bolts and then marking the head, you're eliminating that chance of forgetting where you're at or not knowing where you're at because it's moved. That's the smart thing to do. All right, so I want you to take note of this. So my initial mark was on a flat here. I set this on top of my degree wheel to look at it. Now you're going to be tightening this, so it's going to be going right. So the 90-degree pass, I didn't mark on here, but that would be on this point. This is another 60 degrees right here. So I guess I'll mark that one too. But I did the initial mark in red and then did the next one in white, the final one. So I guess I'll go ahead and mark the 90 degree too. And I'm going to do this on every bolt. That's going to get you in the ballpark. So just wanted to show that to you. Now that's going to take a lot of my guesswork out, especially if I screw up while I'm doing it. So that's good to do. All right, so as you can see, we let these things soak for a long time. I'm not seeing any bubbles come out. This is just 1030 I had laying around. Doesn't matter. Just soak them in the oil. Doesn't matter if it's correct oil or not. Now I got to clean these surfaces up. I also got to get the head or the manifold bolts that are stuck in the manifolds out. That one should be easy because it's sticking out. I already tried to put a pair of pliers on it, which it didn't want to come out, so I'm going to weld to that. This one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to weld to, but I'm going to have to build up weld to even get to it because it's inside that hole. Yeah, it's past flush. That's going to be fun. I was using this and a plastic scraper, and I'm going to continue that over here on these heads. I didn't finish these, but we're going to here in a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to set up the camera, and we're just going to time lapse this and get these as clean as possible. So I will keep this stuff on hand from now on, because that, honestly, did not expect it, was one of the best carbon cleaners I've ever seen. You see that? That was no effort. That's just wiping it out after spraying them down. Now, that wasn't even where the effect I was going for. I was just trying to clean the gasket surfaces, which it also did a very good job on. But I just couldn't believe how easy it took the carbon off. Now, if I really wanted to, I could spray it a little bit more and get rid of this little bit in between the valves. Really, that wasn't the purpose of this. Like, carbon won't hurt anything, but it did make those heads look very nice. Now, on top of that, this is going to be more fun because we got to do it inside here. But I need to spray all these out. Now, having those rags in there, keep those in there. You're going to have dirt and stuff drop down from up here because there was a lot of corrosion and stuff in there, oxidation. And before I pull those rags out, I'm going to get a vacuum over here and try to vacuum out what I can. And then I'm also going to pull these rags out like this so it wipes the dirt out this way. Technically, yeah, you don't want it in the cylinders. What you could do is put rags in the cylinders that are down. And then when you do that, then you pull the rags out and just kind of like throw the dirt off to the side. But we still have to do a really good cleaning and everything. So yeah, you can see a bunch of dirt drop down into these, and thank God I had those rags there, or that would have been inside the engine. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. And as you can see, I used some of that cleaner over here and just got a little bit on the piston, and that's when I had the first taste of how good the carbon cleaning was with this gasket cleaner. That was pretty wild. I couldn't believe that. So, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, cleaning up the block here. And then after that, then I need to get, I got one today, a wand with a long nozzle. You're going to have to spray like brake clean down in here. Then you put a rag over this, put the nozzle down there, put a rag over it, and spray these holes out. You need to get every one of the bolt holes for the head bolts cleaned out. Make sure there's no debris in there, no leftover sealant and stuff like that. That way, when you torque it down, it's accurate. If you have dirt and debris in there, it can hold the bolts up. Also, if you have oil or antifreeze in those holes, it can like hydro lock the bolt and it won't go in the whole way. So that's another reason why you need to get these holes cleaned out the best you can. But as you can see, I took the dowels out, which makes that a lot easier to clean the surface, because then you don't have anything protruding out of it. After I get the surface all cleaned up, get those holes all cleaned out the way I like it, then I'll set those 4 dowels in. There's one here, one in the back, same on this side. And then, yeah, so we'll continue on here after I go take a little walkie walk with my wife, because she wants to go for a walk, and then I'll come back.
It's very nice to meet you. What is your name? I've got to know. Your body's overwhelming. It's like a Broadway show. Don't be hasty, pretty mama, I can't let you down. Ooh, you got your bags packed. That's when I gotta get you back. I guess it takes a while to trust me. You would know that better than the rest. But if you're looking for some company, I can pass all got your back, I know that I can win you back.
Now, realistically, would you clean the top of the pistons like that? No. And I could have made them bare. And I don't know, are these stock pistons or not? Like, they might be, but they're like polished. And I wouldn't think that a factory pistons would have a polished head on them, but they're labeled, and if anybody, GM knows, that's the left side, obviously. That'd be the right side. Yeah, I got the gasket cleaner in there, and one of them cleaned off, so I just cleaned them all off. But being that I did that, and I knew that it was eating the carbon up, I went ahead and put assembly lube on the inside of the cylinder, and then cranked it over twice, and then wiped the cylinders out. Because I don't know what that gasket cleaner will do to the inside of the engine on the surfaces and stuff. So I put the assembly lube in there and cranked it over a couple times so it would kind of wipe that out. And I wiped out what dirty foot weight, it was actually like melted carbon. So I wiped out what was left behind whenever the cylinders came up and then went back down. And then cleaned them out several times. Now I just cleaned out the bolt holes for the heads, which we still got a lot of work to do, but the heads are all cleaned up, and I will wipe them down one more time before I decide to put the head gaskets on. But I see no reason now that we can't put the lifters in. So this comes with brand new lifter trays, brand new lifters, and the lifters have been soaking in oil. So they are going to be a mess, and that's why we'll probably will have to clean up afterwards. But I can pull these rags out now and clean up anything that was left. I did vacuum around them, so I got most of the debris out. So yeah, let's get these rags out and then start popping lifters in. You'll pop them into the new lifter trays. Where are they at? Right here. Now all these lifter trays are the same. I just dumped my head bolts. All these lifter trays are the same, and they only go in one way. You'll pop them in and then stick them down in the tray. Now I should have looked. I don't know if there's a certain way they go in. There has to be. There's a notch on top, or on the one. Yeah, okay. There's a notch on the bottom. So yeah. Two of them have notches. So I'm assuming that's how they're all going to go, with that notch down. Are they down? They're all down. Yeah. I'm assuming that's how they're going to have to go that way. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go with the notches down. When I'm talking about notches, it's these. You see how there's a notch cut in that? That's got to go down because one side on each side has that notch. So yeah. All right, let's get these rags out. Not 100% sure I recorded that because I just went to turn the camera off and it wasn't on. It happens. This lifter trays gets torqued down to 106 inch-pounds. I'm going from the old data. Okay. I'm not worried about the timing cover or any of that right now. I do want to get these heads on. And one big thing that's holding me back from putting these heads on is the fact that I have exhaust studs busted off in this thing. So they're cleaned up pretty well. I'm going to clean them up again after I get done doing all this, but I don't want to do this on this table, and I still need to clean those exhaust ports and stuff. I'm going to get some cardboard or something to lay these heads on. I'm going to be welding. Cardboard's probably not the best choice. I have fiberglass mat, we can do that. Let's get the fiberglass mat out. Now, you got to watch with that too, because you'll get a bunch of fiberglass shards all over you. So let me lay something out here. I'm probably going to get a box or something to lay it on, and then lay the mat on top of it. We're set up in a different department of the garage. This is the back department. So I used an aluminum brush and brushed these exhaust ports. Of course, you can see they're still pretty cruddy. It don't really matter, and even if you get stuff in there, it's coming out. You're not going in. You don't want to do that on the intakes, but I got to blow all this off. There's crud all over it. But you can see we got that bolt nice and clean, but look how far in that sucker is. The only thing that's really doing us justice is the fact that the head is aluminum and that bolt is steel. You can't weld steel to aluminum. So I'm going to go ahead and weld to that bolt and then try to get it out far enough where I can weld a nut onto it, and then we're going to try to get it out. And the heat is also really going to help. You know what? Just because I think I'm gonna wrap this fiberglass mat up over the top of this. I don't want to get weld splatter and anything else. So yeah, there we go. That works out perfect. So now I'm gonna weld to that until we get it out flush, and then we'll get a nut on there and try to weld it on there. So it kept breaking off. I got some out, and then it just broke off again. And it just keeps breaking off, and I'm not getting it out now. So I do have an insert kit, and it's really nice. Let me go find it, and I'm going to find an insert. Is it a helicoil? It's helicoils. Not inserts, it's just helicoil kit. All right. So we're going to have to do an M8 by 1.25. I wish these were a little bit longer, because there's a lot of threads that need to go into that. But it'll be all right. That's what we're going to do. I thought I had like actual sleeves, but this will do fine. Now when you do this, you have to drill that hole out. And you don't want to drill it out too far, because you don't want to go inside the head. So I'm gonna get a smaller drill bit, and I'm gonna put it in one of these holes and see how far in it goes. Then I'm gonna tape it so I know not to go past that tape mark. Then I'm gonna try to drill a pilot hole in that, and then I'm also gonna put a tape mark on the drill bit for the die set, so that we don't go too deep with it. I probably went a little overboard with that. I was looking at them. I probably shouldn't have ran that. I wanted to put it in as far as it would go. And now I'm looking at them. The way these things are, they have a tab on the back. And that's what you screw them in with. But there's a notch on that. So when you screw a bolt in, it bends that over and locks this thing in place. I still think there's enough there that when we put the bolt in, it's gonna tighten up. I'm worried. Like, do I put the manifold on now just to make sure or not? Let's bring the other head over here and hope we have a little better luck with that one, being that the bolt's actually sticking out. I have a little bit of confidence. I have 2 nuts here left. I have a little bit of confidence that we can probably get that out. That one was a lot better. That one came out all of it. I like it. Pretty happy with that. Okay. Now, let's clean these heads up and get them on there. All right, so I went around and I did mark every bolt. Now I had to get my camera out to get the back 2 on each side, but I still wanted to have a mark there for reference, just in case, like, I lose track, so then I can at least have something to go off of. So if I bring my camera over here, I'll show you the back ones. You can see I put a white dot because I want the white dot to meet that when it comes around. Same with the back. I mean, I did pretty good. I did pretty good. And I think this side might not have been as good. We'll go over here and check them out anyways. Yeah, I got a blob on there. But the mark itself is actually pretty good. This back one, ooh, you know what? I think I better redo that one. That one's off. And that'll throw me off. Get down in there. Look at that. Gone. Redo that. Not the best mark, but way closer. So we're gonna roll with that. You're looking down on it, yeah. it's close enough. So we need to do 90 degrees and then 60 degrees, all except for this front bolt. It gets an extra 40 degrees. Now I did mark that out correctly. So hopefully we get this. So let's go through and try it. We'll do our 90s and then check and see how we're looking. And then we'll do our 60s and the 40, and we'll see how we look. Stopping here because I want to show you I did torque fully 1, 2, 3, 6 bolts so far, so I have 4 more to go. So I want to see where my lines are, and as you can see, the white line's up on that one. This one, the red line's up because that's the 90 degree. This is the 90 degree. So where is my paint mark on this one? I'll probably have to look through the wheel well on that one. I can't see my mark from here. Yeah, as you can see, it's there. So these ones are fully torqued. The white marks are lining up pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I just wanted to show that. All right, so I did the most difficult one first, and by difficult, I'm just saying that because you can't get the degree wheel in the back, which I'm not going to be able to get it in over here either in the back, but you have that oddball bolt, and you just want to make sure that you're only doing 40 degrees on that, which I did, and the marks line up perfectly, so I eyeballed that mark really good. So now I just need to do this side 90 and 60. And then I'm happy. I'm happy for tonight. We'll call it a night right there. All right, so I just want to update you from the last clip. I ran out of, my SD card got full. I'm pretty sure I was putting the push rods in whenever that went full. So I went ahead, put all the rocker arms back in, and I torqued those down. They get torqued down to 22 foot-pounds. You're supposed to do certain ones, and then we torquing them 22 foot-pounds. Then you rotate the crank 360 degrees, and you torque the other 4. I just went through and torqued them all 22 foot-pounds, and then did 360 degrees, and then torqued them all again to 22 foot-pounds. So but I think now this is a work week for me, so I'm not going to do anything during the week, and my body needs to recover. I feel like I fought Mike Tyson this week. Leaning over this the whole time. My rib cage is so bruised, it hurts. Next thing I want to do is get the timing cover on. So I have a lot of cleaning to do, and then I got to put a new seal in that front cover, which comes with that kit, that front seal right there. So I have to punch it out, and I got to clean that case up really well, and then clean up that really well. So we'll be shoving rags inside of here and everywhere around here, just so this debris, I'll shove rag in here too, so the debris that comes off around here does not drop inside the oil pan, because I am going to drain the oil and put fresh oil in, but you're not guaranteed all that silicone and stuff is going to come out the drain plug hole whenever you take it out. So avoid getting any materials down into your crankcase there, because it'll plug up your screen to your oil pump, and then you'll lose oil pressure, and nobody wants that. That's right. I just washed this puppy up because I actually have somebody coming to look at this tomorrow, and they seem like a serious buyer. They're coming 4 hours, and they're bringing a trailer, and they said they're bringing cash. So I'm kind of excited, because this is like the first real, I mean, I've had other people come look at it and stuff, but I've never had anybody that seemed this serious. So I had to wash her up. I'm gonna drive it today, and since it's not raining, hopefully it won't. And then hopefully this thing will be gone in this video. That would be nice. Yeah, I know, you missed the car wash, it's okay. You didn't really miss anything. I'll update you if anything happens, but back to the Silverado. Well, I don't think we could have kicked this part of the video off any better. The C10 is sold, it is gone. Guy from Philly just came and got it. I got more than I expected out of it, but it was less than what I had asking price. But I figured there was going to be some wiggle room there at $17,500. That's what I got out of it. I'm pretty happy with that, because I'm guessing I had about 10 in it. That's pretty good. And then on top of that, Vevor sent me a new product that I asked him for mid doing this. So let me put it together real quick, and I'm going to show you that. I'm really excited for that, because I'm going to tell you right now, for the first part of this video, that this whole week, now it's been a week since I've worked on that. The very first of the week, I felt like I was in a boxing ring with Mike Tyson, and my rib cage just hurt like heck. And I messaged Vevor, and this just came today. Thank God, because we're starting back on this today. So let me put it together, and then I'll show it to you guys. That's right, kiddos. It's a topside creeper. Why did I not reach out to them before I did this job? No clue. But we have it now. So let's set it up on the truck here and see how it works. Oh, I'm hitting the truck. I have it too low. Oh, this is so much better. This is so much better. You can lean it over for even further too. There we go. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. It's so nice. And I did this whole job without it. And I could have been doing this. All right. Well, if you want to get yourself a topside creeper, head over to Vevor, because this is freaking nice. Let me go over some features. First off, it would work perfectly if my truck wasn't on the ground. I have it on the ground, so it's hitting the frame, the cross member underneath. So I'm in about as far as I can go right now, which actually you could lift that front end up. There's 3 adjustments down there for tilt on this. And then this has a whole bunch of adjustment in it right here, and it has pull pins. And also, if you want to fold it up, there's just a couple little bolts on this top plate here. You can take these off or just take one side off and flip them up. Then you can fold this arm out and you can fold this top side completely down flat. Well, no, not completely down flat. It'd hit those supports. But still, this is a game changer. I'm so glad I have it now, but I really wish I had it earlier. So the weight capacity on this bad boy is 400 pounds. So I'm just under that, so I should be fine. But they have several different models of this, and this one is the lowest one because that's the one I wanted. And it's 48 to 64 inches. And I'm gonna tell you right now how many more adjustments I got. I got a lot. So right now it's like it's not even in the middle. It's pretty close to the middle setting. So this will work on cars, trucks. This should work on lifted trucks. So this is the model you want right here. Unless you're working on some really big lifted stuff, then they have higher ones you can get. But if you like this sucker, head over to Vevor. I'm going to put a link down in my description. I'm thankful that Vevor answers my call when I message them. So thanks for sending this out to me. I really appreciate it, and that's going to make finishing this job so much nicer. Now, I think the first thing I'm going to do is wrestle this header back in over on this side. I never did successfully get that dipstick tube out. I never got the steering arm off. So I'm going to see if I can wrestle it down in there, hopefully not break off any spark plugs, because I did put brand new spark plugs in the heads while I had it out. Also, put the new sensor on. I got the new oil pressure sensor, and then I put a new screen in the top there, which my screen wasn't even dirty, but it's a pain in the ass to get it out. And when you get it out finally, I poked holes in it, as you can see, but you can also see it wasn't clogged. So yeah, this was a brand new sensor, by the way. I just broke it, so it was probably fine too. Yeah, all right, let's see if I can wrestle that header in there. Well, just another back step. Header's in there. I didn't tighten it down fully, and I'm glad I didn't, because I was trying to put dipstick tube in. I'm like, something's not right here. I got the dipstick tube out. I didn't really look at the end of it, but I did look at the end of it, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So I just looked it up online, and my dipstick tube broke off in the oil pan. So I got to take that header back off now, so that I can get what's left of that dipstick tube out so that I can put a new one in. But I gotta go get one. There was no amount of swear words spared. I got it. I had to make a special tool with my screwdriver. Let me see if we can, you can see I notched that, and I got it down in it. I pried on it. It was loose, but that thing just would not come out. But that means I can continue on. I don't have to drop the oil pan. I was getting upset. I thought I was going to have to drop it. So I can do that later. So I guess I'll go ahead and put that exhaust on now. I'm not going to be able to put this inner fender in, but that's fine. I can deal with that.
Says he'll make me a star if I just play the game. But that man doesn't know that I am bulletproof. Keep one foot on the sky and a foot on the road. I'm not doing this to try to make a name. I just like the way it feels, honey.
All right, so the headers are on. They torqued. I'm happy. I was worried about that helicoil in that back cylinder, the back bolt on this side. It torqued. You're supposed to torque them to 17 foot-pounds. My torque wrench only goes down to 20, so I torqued them to 20. If they're brand new heads, you're supposed to torque them higher than that, back them off 180 degrees, and then torque them to 17 foot-pounds. 20 foot-pounds. You're supposed to torque them to 20, back them off 180, then torque them to 17 foot-pounds. Yeah, I don't know. Besides that, they're all torqued except for that back corner on that side because I couldn't get a socket or a torque wrench back in there. It didn't matter how I tried. So I used a ratchet wrench and made it tight. Good and tight. I need to get this whole front cover cleaned up. So I'm going to pack some more rags in there because I don't want any of that silicone to fall down into the engine. And then I get that all cleaned up. Then I can throw this timing. Well, I need to put a new seal in that front timing cover. That's I think the last part that I have in my kit. And the water pump gaskets and the crank bolt are the only parts I have left that are from this kit. I'm gonna spare you the time of me cleaning that and then spare some time on my camera too and some battery life. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And I'll get back to you whenever we're putting the new seal in and throwing it on there.
But they're always the same. Say they'll make you a star if you'll just sign your name. But that man doesn't know that we are bulletproof. Keep 1 foot on the sky and a foot on the roof.
All right, so off camera, went around, torqued all of the timing cover bolts, put that one stud back in, attached the exhaust underneath, and I tightened the smog pump up, and I put the 2 grounds on the back. Oh, I still need to tighten that one. I forgot about that one. I still need to tighten that one, which is not hard because it's right here. But next, I'm gonna put the fuel lines in because I got those hooked up. And then I want to put the valve covers on. I wanted to do those grounds first just because it is tight. And if I put the valve covers on, it'd be way tighter. So did that and then get the valve covers on. Then I'll make sure I clean everything up, make sure everything's buttoned up in here. And then we can throw the intake on. And then I just got to do all the accessories and stuff. But I'm like waiting to do that is the accessory bracket, the water pump and stuff. I did tighten this cover up and then cleaned up the garage for like an hour and then come back and tightened it up to torque specs. So should be good. The only thing that's intimidating to me at this point is I still had to put that crank pulley on. The new crank seal is in. They go in backwards from what you would think. So let me grab the old seal. So typically you would think it would go in like this. But it goes in like this, like where the end. This one's all messed up, but where the lip is, you typically would put that on the inside, but this is backwards, so it sticks out like this. So that's how I put that one in. Hopefully that's correct. I feel like it's enough for tonight. I have all day tomorrow. I see no reason why I can't get this back together except for the dipstick tube. So I'm going to go ahead in so it's not too late. And tomorrow I think I can button this up. And if you didn't notice, I went and put that alternator bracket on and stuff, and then I looked down and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get the water pump in there because that goes under the bracket. And you couldn't get to any of the bolts there. So last thing I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go ahead and torque these water pump bolts before I go in, just for peace of mind. I tighten them up with my impact, which is probably tight enough, but they do have brand new gaskets, so hopefully they seal. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. See you guys tomorrow. All right, I believe we are in the last day of recording this video. I will say, I'm pretty sure GM quotes 40 hours to do this job, but that's also with removing the oil pan. So, needless to say, I'm almost at the 40-hour mark, or very close to it, without removing that. So I'd say I'm not on par. I would have failed this rate position. But I got a temporary fix for the dipstick tube so I can actually run it. I found a bolt that was the same exact size. I put the O-ring from the dipstick tube on the bolt and then put the bolt down in that hole. The bolt can't fall in because it's got a head on it and it's got an O-ring on it, so it might leak a little bit. I don't know. I will be able to run it today. The only thing I'm not going to be doing is putting this inner fender in over here. And the dipstick tube will be the only thing. And I should be able to put that dipstick tube in without removing anything. No promises. But if I do, it's not going to be in this video anyways. So now with the coolant manifold on, I'm going to go ahead and put the bracket on, and we'll get the AC compressor, then the alternator, and then I can start putting the radiator in, then I can put pretty much everything on. We don't, oh, I got the crank pulley. Let's do the crank pulley right now. And I got to look it up because I don't know. Do I have it wrote down? All right, so I didn't print that out, so I got to look that up real quick. I know it's going to be a high torque, and then I got to somehow put my pry bar in there on something that is going to hold it sturdy while I do it. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this exactly. We'll figure it out. All right, listen to this funky stuff. So you tighten the crankshaft balancer bolt to 110 foot-pounds. Then you loosen it 360 degrees. Then you tighten it to 59 foot-pounds. Then you tighten the crankshaft balancer bolt on the final pass to 125 degrees using a special angler tool. Then balancer bolt will retain with retaining washer. Wait, balancer bolt with flange head. What's mine? Mine's got a flange head. If it has a retaining washer, you tighten it to 200 degrees using an angle tool. So I got to do 125 degrees. Fun. These are doing easy measurements. So 125 degrees is like from this point to this point. So 2 points there. So I'm going to mark this head of this bolt. So then when I put it in there, I can mark the cover, and then when we tighten it, we can tighten it until that line lines up with the other one. I'm not even going to use a degree wheel because it's a pain in the butt. I will tell you what I'm going to do first. Now, I cleaned this up really well with ultra fine Scotch-Brite, and then I wiped some assembly lube on there and then wiped it off so it has a little bit of a slippery surface. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to use the old bolt, which is right here. And I'm going to run this bolt in until it stops, just so that's already pressed in. Then I don't have to worry about that. That way I don't have to worry about running that thing in the whole way, and it'll work out better this way. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll work on the new bolt. I'm striking out. Well, when I put it in there, it curled in the seal in 2 places. So I done ruined that seal. So now I got to see if I can find one. And if not, then I just got to put it together. No, I need to go get a crank seal because I really don't want to have to take that pulley off again. So yeah, I'm going to have to, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I tried to straighten it back out. It's ruined. The good thing is I can get that out from here. I don't have to take the cover back off. It comes out the front. So I don't have to take the cover back off to put that seal in. I can put it back in there. So only thing I'm guessing is maybe whenever I put that seal in and I was tapping around it, maybe I pushed in that inner lip a little bit, and just enough that it was too tight on the crank. Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I don't want to, yeah, I'm so sick of this thing. Well, note to self, don't just assume that a seal goes in the way it's supposed to. Guess what? I'm glad that the seal messed up when I put that in, because guess what? It was in backwards. Yes, this one goes in like this. So I just assumed this one did. But if you look at the insides of the seal, it's made reversed. So this actually goes on the inside. So this is the side supposed to be facing out on this seal. This is the side that faces out on the GM seal. As you can see, it's the opposite side. So yeah, that's why it curled when I put it in, because it's in backwards. So now I have to drive an hour to go get another seal, because it's the only place that has this seal that I need. It's a Felpro one. That's the only one I could find in stock within an hour drive. So I'll be back, and I'm gonna try to speed run this thing when I get back, hopefully. But I already cleaned that up, and it's ready to accept the new seal. So we'll just hurry up and get her done. So I made that trip in record timing. It's a Felpro seal, and this one is made exactly like the original, so I have to put it in backwards like I said. I looked at it. I compared the seals. I have all three of them here. But yeah, this one is made identical to the OEM one. So it goes in like I said. All right, let's get this thing in here. And then hopefully get this freaking dampener on. I'm so mad.
The train's passing by our bedroom window. It feels like the writing's on the wall. You try your best to reassure me, but lately I don't believe you at all. It takes time to build up some kind of mountain. It takes strength just to sit and watch it fall. We can't hope that it all wasn't for nothing, but for now I will just wait out in the hall. If I can't change your mind, then I wanna change for you every single night. Pick my clothes, run my life, 'cause I wanna change for you every single night. It's better than saying goodbye. It's better than saying goodbye. I know that this all sounds self-destructive, but I'll be the first to make it work. Use your hands and control me like a puppet, because losing your love right now is worse. We can't hope that it all wasn't for nothing, but for now I will just wait out in the hall. If I can't change your mind, then I wanna change for you every single night. Pick my clothes, run my life, 'cause I wanna change for you every single night. It's better than saying goodbye. I wanna change for you. It's better than saying goodbye. It's better than saying goodbye. I'll change for you. It's better than saying goodbye.
Now, I am fairly certain that I got everything on. But just in case, I am going to leave this top cover off so I can see all these connections here and make sure none of them are going to leak on me, like all these lines and coolant lines and stuff like that. So right now off camera, I'm going to fill this thing up with coolant. I am going to drain and put brand new oil in this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and fix that flex pipe. I'm also going to leave this cover off just because I'm going to have to get in there to get the dipstick tube on there at some point. So I'm just going to leave that cover off so I don't have to worry about it. The next clip you see, I should have this thing pretty much all together. And we're going to hook the tuner up and load the tune on it. We'll do that. And then we'll do our first start. That's exciting, isn't it? All right, we're to the tuner portion. I had one ground wire that I forgot to put back on the bracket that goes below the alternator. That main bracket, it gets a ground on it. I found it when I was underneath. What's this? Yes, I agree to terms. So, I don't know that I gotta have my vehicle on. What I gotta do, you plug this into your OBD2. Oh yeah, there's 8 quarts in this thing. Since I don't have a dipstick, I at least know I have 8 quarts in this thing. It's filled with fluid. I put the new flex pipe on. It didn't really fit that great because of the way I did my exhaust, but let's do tune vehicle. Turn the key to the run position. Our wipers are on. Now I'm going with what I saw people suggested on these. No torque management in the transmission. Normal shifts. I don't want harsh shifts. Then DOD delete. Let's see. Advanced tune. That's the only thing it gives me. Install standard tune. Oh, okay. Modified song. I guess it automatically, that's all it gives you. We're going to do the Texas Speed AFM delete. Yes. It's now read a backup on your vehicle. Tap yes to continue. Well, that's pretty simple. There you go. All right. It says read complete. What's it doing now? Oh, it's reading the backup. Apply tune. Okay, now it's writing the tune. Right on. Go with it, son. Get it. Turn ignition off. Do not run engine. Turn ignition on. Turn ignition off. Continue. How many times we got to do this? Turn ignition on. Heck yes. Get on there. See, I know nothing about tuning, so this being very self-learning, self-taught here. Tuning complete. You may now unplug the tool and enjoy your driving. Tap to continue. I want to do a couple more tunes on this thing because I think it has more than just that. Please wait while the tool reboots. So I'm going to let this reboot, and I want to tune, I think you can tune the throttle or the maps or whatever, and you can tune the transmission, and I want to do those before I start this thing up. Alright, so I went in to modify stock tune, modify parameters. I don't know. Let me go to apply tune and see. I don't have anything to write. Oh, modified stock tune. Okay, that's all it's going to do is a modified stock tune. Which I didn't mess with any parameters, so maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so the only thing it had under the modified stock tune, if you went under parameters, was speed calibration, which I don't need. I'm just going to mess around with this a little bit more, see if I can find anything else. Nope, speed calibration, that's the only thing in there. Tire size, axle ratio, that's it. Okay. Well, I guess we did what we came to do, right? Now it's just, oh boy, I'm worried. It's clattering a little bit. Well, I don't like that. It's clattering. gonna let it run, but it's really clattering. I don't know if those lifters need to pump up or what. Ooh. I gave her a couple revs and she finally did quiet up. Listen. I gave her a couple good revs. To get the oil pressure up to get it flowing. That did it. She sounds good now. I was wondering if the lifters had to pump up. Listen to it now. I spilled oil when I was filling it up, so yeah, there's that. Let me make sure my dipstick tube solution is working. It is. You can see the bolt in there. Sounds good now. Oh, I'm so thrilled. Yes!
Who's your daddy?
And now we're up to full temperature. I'm gonna have to monitor the coolant, see where it goes. It's down a little bit, but it's still fine. It sounds good. It sounds real good. Yeah, you just gotta give her a couple revs. Get that oil pressure up so it pumps it up through the lifters. Man, yeah. That's the best it sounded in a while. And then the exhaust leaks we had, it's totally quiet, which I didn't hear them before. So it's surprising to me that I even had an exhaust leak. I honestly didn't even know. So that's going to be the end of this episode. It was a very long one for me. Very, very long. This is 2 weeks long. Probably 45 to 50 hours of labor into this truck. So yeah, this is a job, not for beginners. And I very much classify myself as a beginner, so it was not for me. I'm also happy to say I don't see any leaks. That was another thing I was worried about. So that's good. Not even my dipstick plug.
Thinking with your dipstick, Jimmy?
But anyways, kiddos, if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. If you do feel like taking on this project, I am not sponsored, but I got this kit from Texas Speed. Just watch the way you put the crank seal in, okay? It goes backwards from the way you would think. I mean, backwards from the way it came out, but the way you would think it would. So, hit that dislike button if your mom likes it backwards. And we'll see you on the next episode
On Wreck.
Caught you there hanging. Oh, look how sleepy he is. Oh, he's so sleepy. Let me hold your paw. Let me hold it. Stupid. What are you doing? What? He's so sleepy. Miss Stella. Everybody's surrounded mommy. For this guy, he has to cram his body in the smallest hole possible. You don't even fit in there. He's like, don't touch me. Just let it happen. See, that wasn't bad, was it? Was it? He's like, he's ready to leave now.